How are you doing, man?
I'm good.
Such a long time. It's been what, like 2 years?
Probably, yeah.
Since we met last time?
Yeah, it's been like a lot has happened actually, and happy to be here actually. Like we gotta have a great time.
For sure, as we always do, man. Yeah. And well, how's Berlin treating you these days?
Oof, yeah, good question. I mean, I'm going to Brazil in like 5 days, so like I'm looking forward to leaving a little. To be honest, it's pretty dark. Like it snowed. That was really cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I was born in Brazil. I was raised in Brazil, so like I'm not good with winter. Like I love like wearing shorts. I love like wearing like flip flops, Havaianas.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I kind of miss it. I sometimes actually just wear them just to remind me like of home. But
fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, the winter was pretty miserable up until the last couple of days.
Yo, and I live in the woods. I live like in the middle of the woods. So like every time it rains and like there's like it's always dark and like creepy and all.
You don't want to get out of the house ever when that happens, right?
Literally.
It sucks.
And like I have no heating in my place. So whenever like for real, like I have no heating. So like whenever like it's super cold, I have to just put like a lot of blankets and like just.
Oh, I mean that feels like home.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, like it's kind of crazy. I mean, I can't complain, to be honest, because, yeah, like, outside of, like, the weather, like, it's a cool city, and, like,
yeah, of course.
You know, I mean, yeah, how about you? Like, cool. How's it been?
That's good, man. It's good. We're very happy that we've been having a good start to the year. Mm-hmm. I mean, we both kind of got sick over, like, New Year's, Christmas, as everyone did, I guess. Lots of people getting sick now.
Yeah, everyone's
this,
always
like, cold
sick.
Wave.
Yeah.
But all in all, it's been great.
Yeah.
And so I'd say let's take things back a little bit and go into, I guess, the beginning of your career. And I mean, you've been doing a lot of stuff, like film stuff, audio stuff, video stuff. But what got you into all this, and like what took you into like music production in general? To start with?
Good question. I mean, like, to be honest, I didn't even know what music production was like since like 7 years ago or something. Mm-hmm. Like I came here like to do computer science. I mean, that's what I told my parents, you know, like I was like telling everyone, you know, but like, yeah, I know, like, when I was a kid, I always wanted to make music, and like since I know myself, I've been playing instruments, and like I love music. Like mm-hmm. I feel like it's the thing that I love the most, and I will love hopefully forever. Mm-hmm. But I always thought like in Brazil, like, oh, for you to make a living with music, you gotta be like Bruno Mars or like Michael Jackson or something. Mm-hmm. So like for me, it was kind of weird to like, I don't know, make music and like try to see like this as a career path. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it took me a lot of time and a lot of like different places, and like it was a hard process. But I feel like I don't know, like once I just learn about like this thing called like production, like like it's you, if you play a lot of stuff and if you like want to like create a song, like that's like the way for you to do this. You should like produce. So I was like, yo, that's kind of cool actually. And I started like dabbling into like DAWs and like recording and like all that shit, you know. And yeah, I just quit computer science. I called my parents. I was like, I can't do anything else, to be honest. It was a hard conversation, and like, they just stopped like giving me money. So like, it was kind of funny, but I also like, I realized like I got into SAE, like that's where we met. Mm-hmm. I got into SAE because of like a friend's ex, like Julia. Shout out to Julia, like Brazilian also from Rio, you know, like and she like I had this homie like Bernardo, and like he was like telling me about like Julia. Yeah, this girl, she's like doing amazing. She's got like a Grammy or some shit, you know, like. And then I call her like on Facebook even, and she was telling me about like this is like I study at this school, and now I'm like a supervisor there, and if you want to come and check it out and all, and like I don't know, it felt like home, you know, like a lot of studios, a lot of like different instruments, like microphones and all, like it was all like kind of, I don't know, like a big ass playground in a way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, right.
Dude, funny enough is, I think in that regard we have a similar experience, because Julia her and Elio were the first people I ever saw in SAE.
No way.
Like, because I
Two Brazilians.
Yeah, like out of all places, I literally came to Berlin to like maybe 2 weeks before classes started, and I I mean, I was already enrolled, but I didn't have a place to stay, so I came to try and like find a spot to live and everything. And I was like, okay, maybe I can just go into the school and get a little bit of a tour and see what's up. And I walk in the front door. It was right that like 1 week where everything stops and people are just kind of like doing maintenance and shit.
Yeah.
And they were there in the front desk.
Speaking Portuguese.
And I was like, hey, oi. And they were super nice. So it was it was a good start. For sure.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Julia.
Yeah, Julia. You're the best. No, for real. It's like, it's so crazy. Like, SAE, of course, like, we're in Berlin. We're like, what, 10,000 kilometers from home? And still, like, there's a bunch of Brazilians there. Like,
yes, man. Yeah, we're everywhere.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. But yeah, like, about producing, like, I don't know, it just, for me, felt kind of, like, natural to go into that. Because also, like, I had, a couple bands at school. Like, I had a couple, like, projects. But I was always, like, I don't know, interested more in like in creating the music, you know, like just learning about it and like playing stuff. And I know like it doesn't look like, but I'm like a shy kid. So like I like to like be by myself sometimes, and like I sometimes get really insecure about like my music. And like producing is a way also for you to like take control of your music sometimes. Yeah. And you can like record it, like if you wanna, you can record everything. You can make a song by yourself, not show anyone, you know, because they're shy. And then I don't know, it just becomes something like really special. And I don't know, it's also like a really cool skill to have, because a lot of people think it's like super easy and like super like, yeah, you know. And
it's kind of like people either think it's super easy or they think it's super hard.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's like both.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, yeah. And I feel like what we learn at school, for me, like I think it's so important, is like, it's more about dealing with people and with feelings, right? Than like twisting knobs and like learning about this new tool.
The technical shit is like, you have to somewhat take that for granted. Is like it's assumed that you know that, and that's taken care of, and what matters is how you treat people and how you make them feel. And if you're having people over for like a recording session, they need to feel comfortable and kind of like chill enough to actually be able to perform. And that's the toughest part of the job, I'd say. To nail it down and make it, you know,
literally you gotta take care of people, and like emotionally and physically. And sometimes like you don't even feel like you are not taken care of, but you have to take care of other people. And and I think that's super beautiful, because like also I think it shows like I remember when we had like classes, there was this teacher that said like the microphone like gets everything in the room, like every feeling, every thought you have, like every vibe. And if there's like a weird vibe, like it can be like the best song ever, but I don't think it's gonna sound as good as like a, let's say, a shitty recording, but like with like connection,
great
you know.
Vibe, no, for sure, that is super true.
Yeah, right.
It just exposes everything that's happening at the moment, and if the vibe is not good, it's gonna expose that. Yeah,
right. Like I feel like in some ways it's even like deeper than like a picture or like a moment. It's like a print of like this exact moment, how everyone is feeling and how the interaction is like, it's so crazy if you think about it.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, right.
That kind of takes me on to another question, and it's basically, I know that you've done a lot of like film work, especially with like audio in film. How does that relate to music, and is there any interference pattern where you learn something from the film sets that you actually apply in audio production for music?
That's a great question. I mean, like, to be honest, like for me, the thing that like crosses the most is like equipment, actually. Like, well, like when I started, I actually like, I didn't want to buy anything for film, because I was like, yeah, I'm just doing film like as a side gig, and I want to like just be, I don't know, like focus more on music. But the more I got like equipment and all, I'm like, yo, you can also like do that, you know, like it's a tool. Like I have like this 8-track recorder that like I can bring anywhere. So like I can just like, just come to like a band playing the street and be like, yo, can I record you guys? And like that works, you know. And but also like I don't know, like for me, film work is more, let's say there are two different sides of me, I would say. Like film work, you normally go into like people's like locations, like you go into someone's house or like some different, it's always like a new space, a new crew, and you have to adapt like really quickly. Like they say that like in film industry is like hurry up and wait. Like sometimes when you do like sound, you gotta like wait like 4 hours for you to like take one shot, like I don't know, like 3 minutes of footage, but like you took like 2 days to prepare it, rent the equipment, talk to people. I feel like in music, for me at least, like I record a lot like inside, like I have studio and I have like places that I'm used to recording. So like I don't know, like for me it's actually pretty different. Like it's in a positive way also, because like sometimes I'm like fed up with music, and then I go to like a
It's
different.
just a fresh other thing. It's like still audio related, but it's just fresh and a different mindsets.
Yeah, and also like I don't know, like the techniques I think are a little different, you know, like leveling stuff and like bringing stuff in. I think, to be honest, one thing that like made me like, let's say, better at music, or also like made me better in film, is like in movies, like the audio is like a part of the project, right? Like it's so like you kind of like think in the context type of way. And it's kind of cool like for you to also like not care that much, because sometimes like, you know, you can have the best equipment, you can have the best stuff, but then someone like upstairs is like doing like renovation work, and like it's super loud and there's nothing you can do, and you try just to do like the best out of what you can, but it's frustrating, you know, because it's your job to like get the best sound, but like there's some stuff like you can't control, you know. And in studios like a controlled environment and all, but sometimes also like people renovate or people do something
goes wrong and you need to kind of adapt and fix.
Literally, or like you prepare everything is like the best recording ever, and then the artist gets sick or they're hangover and they're like, I can't come, I'm sorry, my voice is shit, and you're like, oh good, no worries, but you gotta be flexible, you know.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and I feel like also film work is super cool, like to get connections, because like at studio, like when we make music, sometimes like you just either by yourself or like another person. Let's say like a biggest recording you have is gonna be like 5 people, or like a band and like 2 people like just like hanging out. And like in film is like big crews. It's like you go to places, right? Like sometimes like 60 people or something, like people involved. Like it's like you're one of like a big project, and you gotta, I don't know, sometimes like follow like this hierarchy, like the director owns.
Just kind of like play your own role.
Yeah.
And then you're out of the way for everyone to do their thing.
Yeah. Which to be honest is kind of cool sometimes, because like sometimes you're the only person who knows what you're doing. So like you can pretend like you know it, you don't know shit, you know?
like no, people know less, so you're good.
Yeah, for real. Like I remember one thing also we learned in school, like there was this like the Bernd, you know, our teacher.
Yeah, man.
He was like saying like this thing like, you can't make people see you sweating. Like it can be like the craziest shit happening, like you're listening to like some interference, is like the thing is like super like I don't know, like distorting and shit, but you gotta keep your cool. You're like you look at the director, maybe you're like, it's weird, but you're the one like responsible, you know. And also in studio recording sometimes, like I don't know, like let's say like something weird is happening with a plugin or so, you gotta be able to fix it, but also pretend like nothing is happening.
Yeah, that's hard sometimes.
Especially for us, you know, like we Brazilians, we like to like, I don't know, we show sometimes our feelings.
We share more than we should with like, oh man, this is crapping out, and they're like, oh, okay. And then it's just like you fix it right away, but it's still like, maybe I shouldn't have said anything, and just like
I remember in my final exam I was saying like, shit, fuck, like and like the guy like he was like, you did everything great, but you shouldn't like just say like that aloud, you know. I was like, but I'm feeling like this, you know.
Who did your exam?
Clemens.
Oh, same.
Remember? No, and Clemens was like super straightforward. It was like, like you're good and all, but like be careful what you're saying in the session and all. I understand.
Fair enough. I mean, in that exam, I guess like he's taking a bit of like the producer role. So if you're the engineer and you have the producer and you're it's good.
German producer.
Funny enough, and I actually, when I was doing the exam, it was also with him. We started to get things set up, and I couldn't get a signal into the console. And it turns out like we had to pause the exam because the interface was crapping out. We had to reboot the whole system, like the whole studio.
No way.
And then it worked. But that was a funny.
No.
That is exactly what you want in your final exam, right?
No, and they probably said like, sorry, but that's what happened in real life, you know, like you should be able to deal with it.
So, I mean, it took maybe like 10 minutes out of time, but because like I told him like, hey, he saw that I knew what was going on. And it was like, I think this is the problem. He was like, okay, stop the clock. Let's figure this out. So he was nice enough to.
That's really cool.
To help me out through that.
Yeah, man. I would also like probably try like, there's probably something there, you know, like oof. But I was freaking out. Like my final exam, actually I didn't sleep. I remember because, you know, like I'm pretty like anxious and like all around and stuff. And I feel like if I don't sleep, I get like stupid enough for me to like not overthink. So I'm like, okay, I'm like running on like
running on fumes, basically.
Literally. And it was kind of cool. Like it helped me out actually. I got through it like without thinking that much. And Yeah, wouldn't recommend it, but like
Yeah, but if it works, right?
yeah, for real, for real.
Cool. Dude, just to dive into the music aspect again a little bit, you've been doing a lot of like pop, R&B sort of genres, and you can correct me if I'm wrong with any of this, but was that always kind of your goal to fall into that realm, or like what's your background musically and how did you end up with those styles?
Yeah, I mean, like, to be honest, I've been playing music. Like, my first instrument was drums when I was like a kid, like a 5 or something. And no, actually, my first instrument, like, for like 2 months was guitar. Okay. I remember like I was like 4 or something, and like I started like guitar classes. And it was kind of funny because like I feel like when you start learning guitar, it's always the same shit. It's like you go through all the strings.
Most boring thing that you don't want to do when you're a kid.
Literally, it was like I remember it was my birthday gift to like stop doing classes. I was like, I was almost like, yeah. That's kind of crazy to think, to be honest, because like I probably wouldn't be here if I stopped doing classes. And also like, I don't know, maybe like a week or 2 before stopping, I remember there was this teacher and like they had like this drum set in the corner, and they were like, yeah, no, you're a kid, you're like tinkering around and all. Like I started playing the drums and like it blew my mind. It was crazy. Like you can like punch it and like just like do loud noises and like people like it, you know?
Yeah.
So like yeah, I just started like I switched to drums and just fell in love with it. Like I did, yeah, like since a kid, I was playing drums, and then I realized, yeah, I liked also like other instruments. Then I came back to guitar. I played piano when I was like 12. Like I've been always like super interested in making music or like listening to music. I mean, when I was a kid, like I feel like a lot of like Brazilians also, like I was in love with like hard rock, like Guns N' Roses and like AC/DC, that type of shit, you know. And I used to like download, you know, LimeWire. Like
yeah, man.
Classic.
Good old times.
Yeah, literally.
Just rip a whole discography.
Yes. And like half of it is like
no,
random.
we didn't do that.
Never. No, it's illegal. Why would we do this? But yeah, like I used to like I loved music, and I used to like draw like those like skulls, like just to like pretend I'm a rock star or something. And yeah, like I dabble a lot into like this type of music. I used to also sing in this high school band, like in Aruana. It was really cool. And yeah, it was also like kind of like rocky, a little like, I don't know, indie rock like type shit. And I don't know, I love music. I love every style of music. I love to listen to different stuff like techno. I love to listen like funky, body funk. I love everything. And I feel like you can get like always like inspiration from like different styles, you know, like there's always people obsessed with some specific shit, you know, new techniques and all. But yeah, like I don't know, like it felt right now I've been doing a lot of like focus like English speaking music. Not by like choice, actually. It just happened, to be honest. Like I met a lot of cool people, and like I feel like it's a lot of like, we Brazilians, we have a thing with rhythm, I think. And like, right, like, and from our background also, like I've been playing like percussion, drums, so I feel like I fell a little into like that I don't know, side of the market. But yeah, it just feels good, you know. Like there are a lot of amazing people in Berlin like doing that type of music that like it's a big scene also, right? And you get to like also explore a lot, like especially from like music from the global south, you know, like R&B, you know, it comes from like a place that we also like we listen to, like not even on purpose, you know, like in the back and all. And I feel like I got really into that. But yeah, like for me, music is also a thing that's changing all the time, you know, like yeah, like R&B, like hip hop, like it's never the same, like
yeah,
right?
Of course.
Like I've been dabbling a lot into like UK garage, like break beats and like faster shit, you know, like it's, for me it's been like super cool like to see. Also I feel like also nowadays like a lot of like different styles are coming back, you know, like
yes,
right, like
there's lots of, especially I think stuff that was big in the early 2000s. It just kind of had a bit of a comeback.
Y2K shit.
Yeah, man. And in like all genres, like for rock, there's there's a bit of a resurgence in the whole like emo scene and all that stuff, and like the pop punk stuff, and and then everything else around. It's just it's kind of cool to see because that's the shit we grew up on. So
yeah, right.
It's a lot of fun.
And especially yeah. And especially when you play guitar, I think like a lot. I've been playing a lot of like with like Deutsche rap, like German rap and all. And like for pop punk, like they've been asking a lot, like because I play guitar, they're like, yeah, just play this. And to be honest, it's really funny because like it's like like down picking and like super like straightforward and all, but like it's kind of cool.
It has an energy, right?
Yeah, right.
It's fun. It's fun to do those.
Use that shit, you know, like.
I mean, a lot of it came from like I think one record that I think Machine Gun Kelly did. That was like rap, and then he just kind of completely transitioned into like this kind of modern pop punk, and then a lot of people were already kind of doing that, but he just kind of inspired a whole different audience to get into it as well. Which is kind of cool,
right?
And it helped with the resurgence.
And for real, like, I think it's kind of like now maybe because I don't know, if TikTok, internet, like everything is so quick. So I feel like the I don't know, like what 10 years ago was like, oh, we have this era of like 2000s, and then like 10 years later is gonna be like another era. Now it's like 2 years, new shit. Yeah, you gotta be like always.
Things change so fast now, right? Man, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah,
right. And like a lot of like people that I think that's kind of crazy also in a way. There's like a lot of people who like maybe weren't that famous back in the day, but now are getting back and like
Kate Bush has always been famous, but like the Stranger Things just like blew that one song away, right? And it's like that was recorded however many years ago, and it's just like went top of the charts like 20, 30 years later. It's
right?
Crazy.
It's so cool, man. Like music is such a crazy thing. Like
you never know what's gonna happen.
Literally, and like I feel you know Arthur Verocai?
I don't think so.
He was an arranger back in the 70s. Like he was our age, like I don't know, like 26 when he did like his first record. I think it was like Arthur Verocai also. He did it like 1972. Like it was like his biggest like piece, the something like his masterpiece in a way. He did it and nothing happened. Like no one liked it. Like he probably like sell like 500 copies or something. And he kind of like gave up. Like he built a studio. He became like an arranger for Elis Regina and like a lot of big artists. And yeah, he probably thought like at the time like nothing's gonna happen. Like whatever, you know, I tried and all good. He got dropped by the label and shit. 30 years later, there was this thing like was like getting really popular, like sampling, and people find the record and people were like, yeah, I love this music. And then like he became like he blew up like now like he's like 60, 70 and he's like touring the world like Bad Bad Not Good, like a lot of like Hiatus Coyote, Tim Bernardes, like a lot of like famous people. And the guy's like a grandpa, you know? And he's like having the time of his life. Like he's a maestro, he brings like into like every show he has like a full orchestra. And it's so cool. Right? And who would have thought like, oh, they're gonna like take your music and they're gonna like turn into something else. They're gonna like rap over it and you're gonna get famous, you know?
Yeah, dude, and it's such a funny thing with like the sampling thing in particular, because that was a reality that I didn't have or understand pretty much at all until I came here. And I have this friend, so another shout out to Yushuan. Tarolina is his artist name. And like he was just, he knew so much Brazilian music from like 70s jazz or something, because it was just like digging through records and finding breaks to sample drums out of it. I'm like, fuck, dude, you know so much more Brazilian music than I do. Is embarrassing.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's really crazy. Like I have this homie like Albi, super cool guy, and he's from Albania. And yeah, like he loves music, he knows a lot about music, but like he came to me like one day, I love this song from Sandra de Sá. Sandra de Sá, you know, like how do you know Sandra de Sá, man? It's so crazy. Like Curumim, like he knows Cell, you know, like he knows everyone. And I feel it's so cool. Like it's like an opportunity also like for you to like, I don't know, like people revisit your music years after like you, and who knows what's gonna happen like in the future. Like maybe like it's gonna be a sample of the sample, you know, but already happening, or like they're gonna like take the melody, and yeah, it's kind of cool actually. Like for me, I feel like as a personally, I feel like more and more. Like maybe I got this from computer science, but like there's this concept called abstraction, which is like, you know, at a certain point, like things are getting like reused so much, they come to like a higher level of abstraction. So let's say like for, I don't know, for now in my head, like music is like one dimension. And with social media or with movies, it becomes like part of something bigger. At a certain point, or it's already getting like, it's going to be a movie. is gonna become something bigger even, you know. So like maybe that the sample of the sample is gonna become something new, and the melody is gonna become something new. And yeah, like creativity, like I think it has a cool way of like revisiting and like repurposing so many things.
Yeah, man.
You know,
I mean, again, with the whole sampling thing, you can get something that was super like smooth jazz and then turn it into some like breakbeat thing with someone rapping on, and it's just like a completely different vibe.
Yeah.
And it's really, really cool when that happens.
It's so cool. And like, I don't know, I feel like creativity is like this energy and like this moment, you know, like, and I don't know, I'm not that protective of my art, to be honest. Like, I feel like I don't care if people sample, right? Like,
it's out there, you know.
Yeah. And to be honest, like streams, they don't pay anyway, you know, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fuck it, you know, like if it helps. And maybe it helps someone get inspired, and like it's type of like a conversation with someone in the future, like mind blowing.
That's true, man.
Yeah,
I never really thought about it that way, but it's true.
Yeah.
It's a little bit. Well, I guess it kind of goes back to what we were talking about, of having a vibe in the room where you're recording.
Yeah.
And you're capturing that particular moment.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like a little time capsule, and then maybe someone in 20 years is gonna find your profile on Spotify or whatever is happening in 20 years, and they'll be like, oh, this is kind of, I can relate to this, and
right,
boom, if you touch one person, you win, you know. Kind of scenario. So that's
so cool, you know. Sweet. Yeah, it's energy, yo. Like it's vibes and like it's feelings, and it's so cool.
Yeah, man. Well, speaking of vibes and energies and recordings, you are in a new studio.
Yeah.
So tell us all about it. How did it come to be? I know there was some connection also to SAE through how you got the studio.
I mean
not to SAE particularly, but to someone that was attached to SAE.
Manu. Yeah.
So how did it all come together?
I mean, it's actually like a long story, because it's like I have this friend like Lena, LMB, and shout out, she's so cool, and like. We became friends like back when I came here, like 2017, 18 or something. We met at like this jam bar, and we became really good friends. My first collab, like first song I did with someone else was with her. Okay. Back like 7 years ago or something. But we kind of like, I don't know, like we lost contact because of life. And then I had this project called like Shimizu. It's like I collab with people, and I do like I don't know, different styles that the people are used to singing. And then she contacted me actually in Instagram. And I contacted her for like a song, and we kind of like got together, and like I've been looking for like a new, because I still record in my place, and it's a really cool place. Like I love this place. I even tattooed it, like fucking love it. But like it's small, and like it's also, I mean, I'm living there. I used to like have it only for music, but now I'm living there again. So I always wanted to have like a separate place, like in a place that's also like I have neighbors who make music, and like in a, you know, it's I think it's good also, you know, to have a separate working space.
I mean, you can close the door and leave, and
literally
then work is out there, and the house is out here, and
and especially like the studio is like in Artistania, which is like a place for art. So like for example, like one of my neighbors is like Cassette Heads, which is like this big ass like jam in Berlin, biggest collective, and it's so crazy. Like I have like the best instrumentalist in Berlin like next door, and I could just like come, you have like 5 minutes to like play on this track. And
that's
mind blowing. The guy like across me is like Tim, like he's like he owns like I don't know how many like tape machines, and he fixes tape machines. He has like analog gear. He's like the guy for tape in Berlin. He like is across the room. That is crazy. And yeah, like I was super lucky. Like Lena, like Manu built the studio, Sky Dojo, amazing place, so beautiful, like really well made. And I think they got like the place upstairs also. Okay. And they managed to like keep the rent for both places. But now like they had like this free place. So like they asked a couple people, and like Lena asked me because she knew I was looking, and I definitely said yes. Like Let's go. Yeah, for real. It's kind of crazy because it's kind of far from my place. Like I live in the middle of the woods, and it's like, I don't know, it's not that far from anywhere, but like from Neukölln, it's like 45 minutes. So it's like a commute. But I don't know, I just felt like doing, you know, I'm also gonna like, I'm not gonna be able to live at the place that I am at forever. Yeah. So it's nice to have a place that like, if I have to move out, I just have to think about living, not about making music and it's like
I mean, it's hard enough in Berlin to find a place to live.
Impossible.
And if you have to factor in, okay, I have to have a separate room to have all my gear and, you know, instruments and stuff like that, and be like a dedicated space, it just kind of makes life a lot harder. Yes.
And I feel like, you know, most people that I meet, if not everyone that I meet, like makes music for a living or like works with music, is obsessed with music or art, you know, like we want to make art because that's the thing that we know how to do with this, the thing that moves us forever. So like I don't know, like I always had this choice between like having a place and having a studio, and I always chose the studio. So like my place, like my first place, like back in like 2018 or 19, like I literally slept next to my instruments. Like I chose, you know, like I had 10 square meters, 9 square meters worth for music, like literally.
Dude,
and
when I first moved into this place here, I didn't have like I bought this couch before I bought a bed, and I was literally sleeping on this couch for, I don't know, 8-9 months before I actually got a mattress. I mean, you just have to do it, you know.
You gotta do it.
It is what it is.
Yeah, and also like I don't know, like it's a good feeling also, like to like just pursue something that's like hard and something that like you know you have to, you know. As you said, like you either sleep on a bed or you sleep like on the studio, and I prefer to have a studio and make music, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. It is what it is, and
you
just have to do it.
and I feel like I believe if you like keep on going, like if you learn with your mistakes and like just keep on going, like something is gonna happen, you know.
It's also kind of I heard this recently. I don't remember who told me this, but it's kind of like anything that you do, especially with this like freelancing thing, but it's very real for music. A lot of time the people that succeed are the people that just kind of outlive everyone. Just because like it's tough, it's gonna take forever, it's gonna be, you know, a
mentally
lot of
draining,
you know, just banging your head against the wall for a lot of time. And if you can bear through it, at some point things are gonna start picking up, and it's gonna go somewhere. But
I think so too.
And this goes for like being a producer, engineer, for being an artist, for being like anything. It's always, you have to survive long enough for it to start making sense. No,
for real. I see like like when you ask like about the movie and music, like I see that happen a lot with movies now, because like a lot of people, like let's say like back in 21, like who were like my homies, and I see them like working, we're doing like maybe like smaller commercials. Now they're doing like huge stuff. They're still the same people, like the same crew and the same equipment. But now it's like, like you down like to do something on Wednesday, and you go there, it's like a big ass production with like super famous people. And I'm like, that makes sense. Like if you keep on working like with the same people, they're also gonna grow and they're gonna get you there. Baby
steps.
You know?
And that's the other thing that kind of, it's kind of like a fucked up side of, I guess, it's particularly true, I guess, in music industry, but it kind of probably goes for everything, is people are very like gatekeepy about stuff, and they don't want to I know this technique, and I can't tell it to anyone, or I'll tell you but don't tell anyone, sort of thing. And in the end of the day, if you're sharing the experience and you're just kind of, if your buddy grows, you grow as well, and
literally,
and just like, it is what it is, you know. There shouldn't be any kind of gatekeeping of that source, because it's
collaboration,
it's good for
not
everyone.
Competition. Like I remember like once I was like making music, and it was a homie of mine, and like back then we didn't know each other that much, and he came to me, he was like, you're the one like who I should like keep an eye on, like we are kind of like against each other. And I thought that was wild, yo, like, because like if you think in a way that's like some sort of competition, we are from Berlin. We're not competing against each other. We're competing against London, against like LA. Like Berlin is, unfortunately, yet I don't think it's a big hub for like a lot of like a type of music, you know. So if we don't keep together, we're gonna compete against each other like in this level where no one's looking, and you gotta be like competing against like the other hubs, you know.
And also, it's just kind of, it's bad for everyone, because if you get into the mentality of competing in this like very tiny local level, the only thing that you can actually do is lower your prices, and then lower your prices, and then at the end of the day, you're just free. Like, exactly. And then you're still competing, is like, oh no, I'm doing shit for free, and it's like, I'm spending more money than you to do this for free. it just doesn't make sense, man.
Yeah, nah, no, crazy. And also, yeah, it's way cooler and it's way easier if you like collaborate, you know? You don't have to do everything by yourself, you know?
Yeah.
Like, no one cares, you know? Like, at the end of the day, like, someone's gonna like listen to your song. No one's gonna think, yeah, like, this person did it all by themselves, you know? Like, yeah, maybe it's like a fun fact, but like, the music, if it sounds shit, it sounds shit. If it sounds good, it sounds good. Doesn't matter who did it, right? Yeah, man. Like, that's what I love about art, to be honest. Like, art is, for me, such a raw thing. Like, you either you like it or either you don't. Like, there's not, like, a thing, you know? Like, and also, like, it's a thing that you show yourself. Like, you gotta be vulnerable. You gotta be able to, like, connect with someone. Because you can't just, like, factor, like, this feeling, like, this vibe. Like, you gotta show yourself and you gotta hope for the best, right? Like, do the best and just keep on working.
Yeah,
for real.
True. Agreed 100%, man.
Yeah.
Right? So we're gonna start wrapping up. I have 2 questions that are like closing questions. And they're kind of goofy, but it's more of like a rapid fire thing.
I love goofy.
One is, what's your favorite plugin, gear, instrument, whatever is your kind of thing that you're using / kind of having the most fun with at the moment?
At the moment, let me think about that. It's a good one, actually. What did I get? I mean, I buy a lot of like random shit, like just to try out. I mean, I've been doing a lot of video, but like I would think about audio. Like I've been actually using like the same thing like over and over lately. I mean, the coolest thing that I own.
I mean, it doesn't need to be the coolest thing. It's just like, what's the thing that you find yourself using all the time?
Ooh.
So, because an example is, and that kind of goes with whenever you buy something new, maybe you just kind of start chucking it on everything.
Yeah.
For me right now is like, I bought this because of this project that I'm working on. We needed some like fuzz stuff, so I bought a couple fuzz plugins. And then I find myself using that on guitars, but also on drum rooms, on vocals, on lead vocals, on like on everything. I'm just like, I need a little bit of distortion. Let's look at that, you know. Let's throw really that fuzz in there.
That's really cool, actually. I don't know. I would say like 2 things. They're not that new, but they're really cool. Like, first is like one of the secrets that I have is like I have this ride cymbal. It's like more on the expensive side, but it's really good. And like I feel like if you want to like create like this room, like this vibe, you literally put it anywhere. It can be like R&B, can be like drum and bass and all. You just put it, you widen it a lot. Like also wider. Love this plugin.
Hell yeah.
Fucking A. Yeah, you widen it a lot and you cut like the lows, you just leave a little of the highs. You just put it in the mix. Like you shouldn't like listen to it, you just feel it.
Okay.
Changes the game, like for me, you know.
Sweet.
Yeah, if you want to get like even crazier, you kind of don't hit it with like a proper like a stick. You do it with like this, I don't know, like this, either with your finger. That works out really well.
Okay.
Yeah, and you go like throughout the whole song. Like it works better if you do like long takes. Okay. And you get like the moments you think like transitions, you know, like from verse to chorus and all. But also, yeah, like at any moments you're like, this needs like a little like extra.
A little something.
That's it.
Okay.
And also a thing that I've been doing a lot. Now lately I'm not doing as much, but I love it. Congas. Like I got beautiful congas from my homie Andy. Best Tribu music store. They got everything there. And he get like he kind of like gave me for like a deal that I've been producing for him. And yeah, congas are crazy. Like if you put congas, it's like fancy shit, you know? It's like, like a normal song, you put congas, it's like a band. It feels like it
gives it so much space, man. It's crazy.
Yes. And like playing the congas is also like, I don't know how to play the congas, to be honest. I never learned. I did a couple classes, but like I do it my own way. And it's so cool. Like it's so I love the congas. Like if you any songs that you have, even like rock and shit, like you should put some congas.
Throw some congas in
just
there.
To try, you know? See if you like, see if you don't like. Love that. Effectrix also is like a plugin.
Okay.
They're like, it's like a, let's say it has like different small effects, like a chain and all. They have the 1 and the 2. I personally love the 1. It's older, but it's way better. Okay. And it's good like if you want to do like glitchy stuff and you want to like, loop stuff. Really cool, like create variations. Like if you want to like do some, make it like more alive. Love Effectrix, like use a lot. Like I would say DX7. I mean, they have like
yeah.
fucking love the X7.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool. You know, they just put a
classic.
yeah, and it has there's also like this thing that I just got is like a Roland, I think 5080 if I'm not wrong. It's like it's like a simulation, like a VST for I think if it's an 80s synth if I'm not wrong.
Okay.
Amazing if you do want to do like yeah, it's kind of like cheesy, but like in a good way. Amazing, should definitely check it out.
I mean, some of the cheesy stuff just kind of gets the job done. So
yeah,
you use it 'cause
literally,
it works.
literally, and like they have like like the Korg M1, the classic, or the Tritone from Korg. Like also like they have like really cool sounds and classic sounds, but also everyone has them. So if you got like the same shit but also like less known, you kind of feel like it's fun.
You have a little something different that kind of differentiates.
Yeah, and I mean, I could actually go on if you like, but yeah, those I would say first come to my mind.
That sounds good. Well, and the last one is, so you said you've been listening a lot to like different genres and you like all this stuff. Is there any one particular genre that kind of caught you by surprise that was like unexpected for you to actually really like it?
I mean, like I would say, like for sure, like UKG, like UK Garage is so cool, and it's like something that I just like last year, maybe like or 2 years ago, I started like listening properly. It's also like super crazy because like in Brazil, I don't think we have like that much influence. Like we don't know much about like outside of US or something, and UK like they got a lot of like history and lots of culture. So like UK Garage is so cool.
I think in Brazil, a lot of the stuff that we get from the UK is just rock.
Yeah, the Beatles, the Clash.
That's kind of where it ends.
Yeah.
And everything else that's also there is just kind of overlooked.
Literally.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. And like 90s in the UK is probably amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right?
So much good stuff, man.
Oof. Yeah, raves and all. Like it's such a nice, and I feel like it's coming back, like UKG is like super high. Like if you see like samples on Splice, like a lot of like UK Garage and all. Like I love it. Yeah, also like Body Funk, like I think they call like MEB, like because MPB is like popular music of Brazil, and now it's like MPEB, like popular electronic music of Brazil.
Okay.
Yeah, it's super cool. It's like a big ass movement that's been going for like the last couple years, and yeah, I feel like it's exploding in everywhere actually, in Europe and US. Yeah, you got like a lot of producers playing like in huge festivals and like doing a lot of amazing stuff and like super new, like super different, like distortion, like they just distort the shit out of it and it's so raw and so like and yeah, like I'm as we talked before, like I'm going to a party after this, like just gonna like dance a lot, to that. Such a like refreshing and like super different and sometimes even like wrong by our like let's say like audio engineering standards. Yeah, it's so fucking amazing the way they do it and all. Like it's for me blows my mind and inspires me a lot now.
Cool, man. Cool.
Yeah,
that's great, dude. Well, thanks for coming today, and we had having this great chat.
Me too. Yeah,
it's always good to hang out with old friends.
Yeah, it's crazy how like we have to have like those like excuses to like just talk and like just meet, right?
I mean, life gets in the way, man, and it sucks, but it's good. We have our moments.
We keep on going. Yeah, we keep on going. We'll be here forever.
Yeah, hell yeah. All right, man. Well, thanks everyone. This is Rafa, and see you soon.